فلذلك فادع واستقم كما أمرت ولا تتبع أهواءهم وقل آمنت بما أنزل الله من كتاب.
الحمد لله. صلى الله وسلم على نبينا Muhammad وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. I've been asked about how did your family react when you became Muslim, and there's depends on who is the family member and like what the relationship was with me beforehand. In general, before I became Muslim, there was a period of time where I went a little bit off the crazy end and the hippie spectrum and whatnot. And from that time, like I had cut off some of my family members and whatnot, or the ones that I did talk to. It was not necessarily in the best of manners. And there was a time when during that time that I didn't have the best relationship with like my immediate family. And so after I became Muslim, I let them know that I became Muslim. And my mom at first, she was like, I don't want to hear anything about it. She was like, I don't want to hear about it. And also like with some of my other family members, I let them know, like my cousins and whatnot. And they immediately, like one of my cousins, he's a missionary to like Zanzibar, and some of my other cousins, they're like involved in their church work or whatever, and they tried to like tell me what other shubahat, like anything that could get me to like have doubt in Islam. And they tried a little bit and a little bit, and then they saw it wasn't going anywhere, and then they cut me off. And like they won't necessarily say anything other than just like a few little small words. And the same, similarly for like my uncles that are on that religious side of the family. But as for the people that aren't very religious, they tend to hold like a more open view, in that like, oh, you do your thing and I do my thing and we're all good. And so like some of them, they actually, like my relationship with them, it actually became closer. When it comes to like more of my immediate family, most of them, they left Christianity, so they're open to difference in that sense, or like something that's not Christian. And so I have a relationship like with my sister and whatnot. There's been a lot of silence that I've got from my family, especially like the more religious side of my family, where I will reach out to them, and either they try to say something about Islam, and then if I don't come to what they want, then they pretty much they give me kind of the silence, no response. And this is something that was there. Alhamdulillah, my mother, actually my relationship with my mother became like way, way, way better after I became Muslim. And this was something that as soon as I became Muslim, the brothers that were around me in the masjid, they told me, they said, you gotta make sure that you do everything that you can to make sure you respect your mother and keep that relationship very strong. And so right after I became Muslim, I started talking to my mom, and I started just with the regular like phone calls and whatnot. And even though at the beginning she said, I don't want to hear anything about it, don't tell me about Islam, don't tell me anything about it. After a while, she was more open to listening about it. And so even though I don't necessarily like, I don't have the like freedom to necessarily go like upright, like call her to accept Islam, which I've done on multiple occasions. This is something that I'm able to talk about Islam with her openly, and she actually sees that this has been something that has changed her son for the better. And so this is something, and a lot of the people that actually know me from before and they know me from after, they see that this guy is not the same. And they know that Islam has totally changed my life for the better. And before, I was into all kinds of nonsense and drugs, blah, 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 all these things. And then after I came out of that, this was something that they see, oh, he's in his clear, he's in his right mind, he's thinking, he's studying, he's starting a family, all of these things have totally changed for the better. And so those with the open mind, they see that, and they see that this is a good thing. And even though the Christians, they have kind of a very, very stern relationship, it's something that, for the most part, I try to do my best to keep up with them. And I can't like make them reply to any of my messages. And if I go overboard with that, that's something I'm sure there's no benefit to it. And that's from the vast majority. Like my grandpa, he has discussions with me, and like we send emails back and forth. And he's a professor in a Christian college, so he'll ask me sometimes. He'll bring up like questions and whatnot. And some of the things that I will probably bring up are some of the questions that he asked me and whatnot. And he tries to make me doubt Islam and whatnot. But I give them back the answers from the Quran, the Sunnah, and whatnot. And alhamdulillah, the more you seek knowledge in Islam, the more solidified and strong your faith will become. And this is like the complete opposite of when I was in Christianity. When I was a Christian, the more I would look into the depths of Christianity, the more I'd see there's an issue here. There's something not quite right. But in Islam, there's always something that you'll find. The more you look into it, the more like solidified your faith will become. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.
فلذلك فادع واستقم كما أمرت ولا تتبع أهواءهم وقل آمنت بما أنزل الله من كتاب وأمرت لأعدل بينكم الله ربنا وربكم لنا أعمالنا ولكم أعمالكم لا حجة بيننا وبينكم الله يجمع بيننا وإليه المصير